Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Delhi series. As we are no longer the Delhi Sultanate, we are now known as the Mughals. And from this forward on, this series will be referred to as Delhi/Mughals, or the Delhi Mughal series. Because, well, if you want to have a quick recap on the whole series, first we started off as Sirhind, which is located around the Punjab region. Then we took on the Delhi Sultanate and took the nation of Delhi to ourselves. And then we have expanded and fighting against numerous wars with Jaunpur, and even taken out Multan to secure this part of the Indus Valley region. And then we went up to Afghanistan just to expand to the areas where our dynasty, which is an Afghan dynasty, the Lodi Dynasty, decided it's like, hey, let's go up to Afghanistan and try to expand more into Afghanistan, where eventually we would have to fight against the Timurids. Even though we have lost that ally against them, but I would like to kick them while they're down sort of mentality, but no, not really. And then a random event occurred where it happened in 1488, where it decided it's like, yes, our dynasty is Afghan, but our primary culture is Hindavi. So we decide to, for one day only, adopt Afghan as the primary culture, and then this was also the day that the Mughal Empire is formed. But it's not ran by Timurids as it was historically, but it's ran by the Afghan Lodi Dynasty. And of course, forming Mughals means a lot of things now. So there's no longer accepted cultures. Now there's assimilated cultures and culture groups. Even though we have not united all of the cultures that are of Hindustani, such as Awadhi, Vinaya, Rajput, Kashmiri. We're coming to you next. A little bit of Iranian, which if we ever try to go all the way over there, then we would get this bonus. This is how it works for assimilated culture groups. It gives you many benefits. So, if we unite all the Hindustani culture here, which means we have to get all this eventually, especially away from our ally, Malwa, which we'll have to fight one day, but there still might be some use from them. And the Western Aryans, such as the Rajasthani, Sindhi, Malvi, Gujarati, Saurashtra. Then if we unite all of them... Oh, and don't forget Marathi too. We get Gujarati traders for more trade efficiency. So you basically get the idea that down the line, when we expand all the Indian subcontinent, which is practically the ultimate goal for this series, because historically the Mughal Empire did control most of India, probably the biggest empire since the Gupta Empire. Not to be confused with the Gupta Empire from my other ongoing video series in Crusader Kings 2, which you can check it out. Anyways, that's my ultimate goal for this series. Unite the entire Indian subcontinent, or in this case from our perspective, the Mughals, conquer it. But that will not be an easy task, because there's still many factions up north we'll have to deal with in future. As the missions state, that we're going to start off, we're going to kick off with pacifying the Punjab. The land of the five rivers has been home to powerful Afghan landholders ever since the original conquest by Mahmud of Ghazni hundreds of years ago. These local strongmen are in many ways an obstacle to our newborn empire, and if we are to last, we must use a firm hand to show that they are now expected to obey our law. Again, seeing these texts for Mughal missions, it's almost like as if it's meant for a Timurid, not for an Afghan such as myself. Although I'm not Afghan in real life, I'm talking about, you get the idea of role-playing and whatnot. Sometimes I lose myself to be another. Lahore, the area gets Lahore Subbat until the end of the game. Production efficiency up, state maintenance reduced, and we'll have permanent claim in the Sindh areas, Ghor, Sistan, Herat, Balkh, and Kabulistan, which gives us the option to go up to the Afghan frontier. Even though we do want to unite with our Afghan brothers over there. But fortified strong tower in the game, so I'm willing to expand up to more Afghanistan, but go no further into Persian speaking areas, even though they're all Timurids, or going after countries like Kara and Akunulu. Otherwise we'll be meeting with the mighty Ottomans. No, stay where you are. But although I may consider going up to Afghanistan to deal with anybody that's in our way, and then we'll stop right there. Although if you do that, then you would have a permanent claim on Tabriz, Herat, Samarkand, Qom, and Mashhad, part of Abbaside's dream, which they pretty much tell you to own that area there, this area. Yeah, all the major cities. So, pacify Punjab first, but hey, at least it gives us a permanent claim against the Timurids, since I've wanted to finish them off, since they're pretty much the sick man of Asia here. Not talking about any of them further east. I'm talking about them, the Timurids. They ain't powers I once used to. A far cry from the glory days. But do not forget that you still must fight against Jaunpur. No longer there are reconquests, or now it's conquest because we're no longer Delhi. Conquest means that 100% of all of these, but at least Bengal and Malwa will be there. It's Jaunpur, you goof. You are allied with Sindh for now. Until we have claims on you, then we'll set out to get rid of you, even if we have to fight some pretty good allies of theirs. But do not start the war right now against, okay, this might be a two-war affair for this episode. One, for the Jammu area, which we can take Jammu and Kangra, which we have claims to both of these areas. That's part of pacified Punjab, so in actuality we want to take Jammu, but we'll probably take Kangra too, simply for the sake of it, for annexation. You know, you're going to be dealing with these two other allies. So it would be wise to move into position. So we'll go after the smaller nation first before we take on Ladakh. And Ladakh is an ally to Sang. Or Sang, how do you... Not, but they're in the middle of a war. But it's hard to tell. Our prestige is very high, there's no need for that. And also, finally, by the way, since the Mughals have new ideas, so we already have +5 discipline, and all you need is 2 more ideas to have a reduction national arrest. But right now, we are a bit behind the time. Slightly. So we'll probably want to save up for these. And plus, I've learned my lessons from the Croatian series, that other ongoing series from EU4. That'll go to show that, well, we know. Renaissance is still yet to come here. But I'm sure it's only a matter of time before, it reaches there. And then ships on over to God knows where. Into Gujarat, and then come on up. of course, that's going to cost you a lot of money for that reason. So let's get it over with. Padishah Aladdin Alam Shah is the newest ruler, and it's a wonder how his father is the one that founded the Mughal Empire, and the grandfather, Balu Lodi, is the one that was from Sirhind and then took over Delhi. I don't know that. That's in Panipat. Oh yeah, I remember. There's the foreigner and the throne, that's one thing, but that's also where that Sikh guru first appeared, and then we kicked him out of there. Don't use any ideas. And also, that quantity and economic ideas, that was originally for Delhi, but since it's now inherited into Mughals, I'm sure when it's complete, both the quantity and economic ideas, that's gonna make an empire extremely powerful, in a sense. In the sense that we would have the numbers and a strong economy, but look down the line. The bigger we get, the richer and stronger we'll be. That's what makes it different from the Croatian series. In the Croatian series, we were doing our own version of Yugoslavia, but the Delhi Mughal series here, we just want to be the one that conquers the entire subcontinent, which is the long-term major goal. But we still got a lot of work to do. Had something else on my mind, but I kind of lost it. Other than, is there anybody cheap? Any cheap advisors out for reduced cost? Oh, here's one that adds more discipline. How are you, man? You know, I'll put you in. Knowing that we plan on going to war sooner or later. But at least the next ruler down the line will be a bit of an improvement. A bit. Key word. And knowing that when we fight against Jaunpur in the future, we'll still use Bengal and Mawa. I want to start improving relations with, well, if I were to tell them to break an alliance with the Bahmanis, as much as I would, like, as soon as we're done Jaunpur, Bengal is next. Get to the other side. Malwa still has its uses, as they fully use the favors against us. Fully favor. Wait. Thinking. Hey, here's an idea. Because that land of Kalpi is one of the core provinces of the Mughals. They need to give it back. I have a permanent claim in this area. So is this. And since you have no core provinces to return to me, well then, let's start talking. And then subsequently, we're gonna start building up favors. As much as I'm using favors from Sindhu, I have no core provinces here. But you're just there as an ally for me, because we helped out during the deadly war, which had a terrible, terrible Pyrrhic victory. That I have no business to be up there. But what's your trust? Somewhat. Okay. Although one day our alliance may be broken, because knowing that if we pacify the Punjab, I would have claims against you, then I would have to go down there too. so we could finally have a coast of our own. So you probably want to stop that right now. Free up a diplomat so we can, you know. Yes, I have a claim there. But these are not core provinces, but this area is a core province, and you need to give it back to them. I do have a permanent claim on Ranthambore. So does this one, so does that one. Yes, yes. Yes, I have a permanent claim there, but no core. Well, it'll be much harder to negotiate, but I think it would be better off if you just deal with them in war. That's idea, you goof. You got 2 ideas now, but that'd already be taken, but I'm saving it up for these. Diet, I just remembered. Slow down. The ulama requests to invest in the prosperity of their lands in Sambal. The Mansabdars can't help but be tempted by the vulnerable target presented by our neighbors in Nagur, and a push for a military campaign to bring it under our dominion. The Rajputs can't help be tempted by the vulnerable target against Jangladesh. Oh man. One wants development, the other 2 says, hey, conquer this land. Or conquer that land. Excuse me. Who's allied with who? Oh, that's way over there. That's the easier target for a war against Jangladesh, but beware, they're Sikh, which means that their morale of armies is higher than ours, which is dangerous, but they are a small country. Who's gonna help them? Have to have a subjugation war. That'll please the Rajputs. Or the other alternative target is this one, which is allied with Sin. That would break our alliance with them. Correct. Okay, Rajputs it is. But I'll get them later. But it says take the capital and vassalize them. There's room for a vassal. They could be worth of something. I have no claims to this area. But it'll be a very easy war. Just looking. Don't need Marwell's help. It's something that we can handle. But I already have them on the mind. Taking on these. And plus we're still trying to drill this army. Even though Malik Hussein is a veteran. I should give myself a military command. Never heard of that noise before. When I click it from there. Let's see, what am I? So, no fire. 3, the 2 shock, 3 maneuver, 2 siege. Okay. Guess that'll do then. But beware. He's young. And in case if I get killed in action, at least the Padishah Begum there will be a good one. If you want to be building things. So I assign myself into this army. I mean, there's always room for something, correct? So, just take capital. That's the goal here, and that's over there, obviously. We have the manpower to do so, knowing that this army will eventually be committed to this other conflict while we will continue to drill the army, but this one that's slightly less drilled. So yeah, let's do that subjugation war. Just a quick one. A short war will do. Don't bring Mao in. Or any ally for that matter. We're just here to subjugate him. In position. Funny that you're friendly, but because we've improved relations with you. I do not remember improving relations with them, honestly. But hey, having them on our side as a vassal would be invaluable. Is that so? Well, what do you know? All too easy. Make it happen. Move in. Send one regiment to head this way. Just to make sure nobody gets in or out. The people laugh at our army. Though the decision to go for massed army makes sense to many inside of our country, uncouth foreigners are laughing at us, saying our army is nothing but an undisciplined mob. Let them laugh. Undisciplined mob they may be, but they won't be laughing anymore. As you were. Have the siege skills, so the ulema demand Rajput conversions. Rajput service to the Mughal state is founded on an unspoken understanding that the Rajputs should be allowed to practice their traditional Hindu religion and face no penalties for failing to convert to Islam. Leaders of the ulema have recently taken assistant or inheritance oh no. The great advisor died. Says our heritage in the Sharia, demanding that we pressure Rajput leaders to convert and penalize Hindu nobles by restricting their ranks and privileges. Although a small number of Rajput nobles have converted, the overwhelming majority are outraged by the ulema's actions. They petitioned the Padishah for an immediate guarantee of religious tolerance, demanding their traditions and customs be respected by law. Let me see of your loyalty versus them. What's our current piety? Well, we're trying to convert Sialkot, but oh no, we're almost done. Almost. The ulema would become disloyal for a time being, but I'll guarantee religious tolerance at Skull the ulema, because we need a bit of mysticism, just because if you go that way, that increases missionary strength and morale of armies, which is something that we lack in our army. We have the discipline, we just don't have much of the morale. Now, what is this other piece of news? For a long time, foreign merchants have been selling in Delhi to better conduct trade with our country. Lately, However, the intensified activity of the kingdom of Doti, the quarter has grown into a city of its own. This is not without its problems. Our own citizens are complaining that the Doti community is growing at their expense. They demand that we impose harsher rules on foreign merchants to curtail their activities outside of the foreign quota. Good on you. Where's Doti? Because that's a totally foreign realm and can't be anywhere near here. Oh, there you are. That little country. No, we must respect the wishes of the good men of Delhi. Local trade is strengthened. More trade power means more income. Also, no one's attacking here, so it's fine to mothball the forts. Actually, oh well, ever since that great advisor died, you know, it means a little more income. We're not having inflation issues, are we? Oh yeah. Actually, we do need an advisor. Yearly inflation reduction. I could lower it manually, but the man is the Minister of Mint. It ensures that coinage is minted to correct standards. When a great man is running the local mint, people have more faith in the value of money. That's exactly what I need. Yes, we'll be willing to spend it. Plus, that's +2, you know, because we need to get up there. Because inflation is starting to become a real issue here. Speaking of, you know, 137 days. Before we negotiate, is there a nearest gold province? There's one. Mughal. That has gold. So basically, go to Rajputana in future. There's no gold in Afghanistan, but there is dyes. I thought Hindustan was the land of gold, but the only gold mine is in Mughal, and that's currently held by Mawa. Now you're making me look ambitious. Alright. I'm not here to conquer your land. There might be some use of you yet. How'd you like to become a Mughal vassal? Which of course that increases a bit of aggressive expansion, but not to worry. How much? Very tiny inflation. Some ducats to make it up to 300. It'll cost you nothing. So you got it. Forced vassalization. If you remain loyal, then maybe, just maybe, you will integrate. Return to the post. So now diplomatic relations up for 10 years. And the Rajputs are extremely loyal now. And what does it mean for loyal Rajputs other than fort maintenance? Manpower recovery speed. But the problem is they're not influential enough. As much as I would like to give them more influence. I mean, we already did this. In fact, I have a lot of crown lands to myself. Army tradition released 30. Army tradition. Well, son of a beeswax. Keep the forts maintained and don't mothball it. Drill them. Sorry about the mess. Oh my goodness. That's too young. Oh, we're gonna have a bit of a long regency for 12 years. But we'll still be able to declare war since we have a Padishah Begum. Construction cost reduction if you want to spend your money to build buildings. But that stability is a real issue now. Because low stability means national unrest. And legitimacy will be down. What? Regency? Religious unity? Yeah! So close. Yeah. Why the hell not? Yeah, just leave that open. Damn. Multani separatists, Noti separatists, Mughal nobles, unhappiness among the ulema, differing opinions and interests over religious and secular matters between our government and the ulema spilled over and becomes a significant source of conflict. The ulema are now making demands for changes of policy, failing which they will withdraw their support for the Regency Council. What demands? Just loyalty if you go towards it? Or I guess prestige. I'll take the prestige hit, so I'll agree to their demands. Negative 18 influence? State religion not dominant? Of course not. But I'll tell you what, since you're with us now, so be supportive of us for future conflicts to come. Also come to the realization that copy the development is 11. So it's going to take a very long time to get favors out of them. But we do want the land to take Jammu and possibly Kangra as well. These other countries will be left alone. Why are you making me choose? But if you have too few rivals, then... well, never mind then. Improvements in production technology. There are reports of farmers and miners being more productive than local zamindars expected to be. We should investigate there's something for the entire nation of the Mughal Empire can benefit from. Spare no expenses, we need administrative power again. Well, we're trying our damnedest to reduce inflation. But it's a slow process, you know. Enjoining right and forbidding wrong. Muslims are encouraged in the Quran to take an active role in their community in order to enjoin right and forbid wrong. While this command has been interpreted in many ways by Muslim scholars, it was sometimes used by reformist groups to justify the forceful spread of more extreme views. A group of charismatic mosque preachers in Delhi have begun calling for an end to unorthodox religious practices and inciting the populace against the Sufis, leading to violence and street battles. Good for the money, for the current party if you're going that way. And we kind of need some of that loyalty again. It's a bit contradictory, don't you think? You're trying to convert, which, well, you're almost finished anyhow. So stamp down on the movement then. The more you go that way, and plus reducing technology costs. We're trying to get there. So stick to legalism, because you're about to finish converting Sialkot. And there is no need for another general yet, as we want to save up that military power for the next one. Still at war, but they're still willing to come to Ladakh, which means we have to defend our front against them. But it would be much easier to take them on first, and Jangladesh will assist us just a little bit. Plus, declaring war against the Hindu would make us move more towards legalism than ever. More than ever now. When he takes the throne, it'll be a big improvement. Now, yeah, we'll be fine. Till you reach 50, stop drilling. We'll come back to it at a later time. Let me see regarding... of what gives it more trade power, and what area gives the most manpower. These three here, yeah, that'll give you another 1,000 max, I should say, to reach up to 50,000, which is thanks to legalism and nobility and Rajputs that serve on this and whatnot. Production, if you want to build something, unfortunately there's not a lot that produces such. If by golly, if you want to build manufactories, this is the place to be. And Bengal gave us some money. Well, thank you. Now if we want a regimental camp to increase the land force limit, well then that's not time yet, but we're trying to save up the military for that. Just looking at the options here. Reconquest Kaspa against... They're gone! Hey! Return that core province to here. That belongs to Mughals. Thank you very much. That's what I wanted all along. And we're not going to make this into a state yet, so... call this a bit of an increased tension. And you desire Jangladesh? Well, fight for it, I ask you. Got what we wanted out of him, sucker. So, where does that put us? Of the claimed territories. I mean, again, we plan on going east. And at the same time, we want to go down to Sindhu. For the Sindh campaign. Thank you. But here's the real problem here regarding religious unity. It increases corruption and also without that it increases even more national unrest and stability costs matter. That's the problem. So we need to keep convert. That's all you have to do, just convert. I know we're moving more towards legalism, which is going to be harder, rather than go towards mysticism, just to make conversions more appealing to the local populace. That's what that's like. Now, what to do. Since I got all these favors from you, so how much? Spend 10 favors, 6 months income for additional money. And since we're going to be fighting, well, seemingly small wars, there's no need to bring them in yet. And I don't need more soldiers, we'll be fine. So we're just going to be that kind of greedy bastards to just say, give us the money. That's one. And you can... Every 5 years you would have to ask for traded ducats for this type, since you already asked one. Understandable. Now let's build buildings. I know every little bit helps. What a possible number of buildings you could see here. Yeah, these three. That'll give you another 1,000, thus reaching up to 50,000 manpower, which is very, very well. What is that part of the trade node? Lahore, okay. Gujarat still has the most trade power here. Mughals, here's 14. Gujarat, 16. Oh yeah, that will change. It'll change when we go further into Afghanistan. And then we go down to Gujarat and all that. Well, we hold the most trade power here. Our home territory, but having more of that would also do good with it. Do spend. Well done. And go. And we'll get more money by winning another battle here. Thinking of who else I should negotiate with, just to, you know, get them to whatever. You're friendly with us. No favors. Despite lack of alliance, but... Yo, that's your problem. That's why we can never get along. But there is still some use in Bengal, because I still want them to join one more war against Jaunpur before we break an alliance with them to fight against them. Chagatai again, simply for the sake of it. Even though I don't have a bone to pick with them. Stop drilling. The time of waiting is over. We will soon engage him. So if you fight against them, then yeah. We can handle it on our own. But as you have no general there, and good timing. Justified wars will do, since we plan on expanding aggressively. Most definitely. vassals. That's nuts. Humiliate a rival through a peace treaty. Huh. Yeah, I need to have a rivalry war as well. But it's not going to be against the Chagatai. You son of a beeswax. You've allied with Mawa. We have missions that expands against them, but let's not worry about that right now. One more month and then we'll engage. We lack professionalism in this army, but that'll change. 6 zealots. Hold. That'll make things easier. The objective is Jammu. They won't come, but our new vassal will. But it's largely going to be us anyhow. They may be small and they're up in the hills, but just use your numbers. Because that's what we're becoming known for. Don't care how many casualties you take, just get the job done. No, it's from Jammu. They survived only because of, you know. Finish them off. Got him. Only lost 9 guys. Hey, move in. Too bad we lost our siege guy. But keep in mind, this is the army with the artillery. It's our support army. Assassination of noble. Noble families are the bulwark of our power. However, they are not a united force and are locked in a constant struggle against each other for influence and power. As time marches on, some noble houses might see their fortunes rise, while others could lose all the power. The result again be leading to bitter rivalries and recriminations. Recently, one of these rivalries boiled over on the outright conflict as Garsas Uzbek, leader of the powerful noble house, was assassinated by his rivals. Furious, his surviving relatives are preparing their violent revenge. Let them solve it among themselves. It's gonna be alright. Everybody will duke it out. What are you doing here? Fighting against Sindhu. But you're both my allies. Don't make me choose between you two. I would hate it for them if they take Sindhu for themselves. Then that means that's going to be the end of the relationship with them. And I would have to start looking at the Bamini. I know they do not like us because they're Shia Muslims, but maybe we can come to an understanding. Who are your rivals with? Gujarat, Malwa, Vijayanagar. What the heck is... Was Khandesh always been there, or am I crazy? I must be crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm only improving relations with Bengals just to, you know, not to break an alliance if they have issues, me being with, you know. Yeah, that's the reason, Mala. That could change though. Think, 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 think. You were thinking in your head. Oh, yes. Garwal is out. You're fully occupied. I don't want any of your territory except maybe money. Or better yet, pillage them. Because, you know, we need some development. Of course, that's a bit of an aggressive expansion penalty. Just to show no mercy to them. And whatever money you have. Just this once. It'll be pillaged, so that development will be sent over to Delhi, which is now room for another building. Whichever you may choose. Likely this, when you get up to that military tech. Sorry about that brief black screen. I was alt-tabbed out of there, or whatever's the screen. I mean, it did not crash the game, it's just pop up and all that. But anyways, back to the wall. New trade research is heretical. Blast it, man. It used to be up at 70 siege, now we're just losing it further and further. Don't worry, he'll be fully legitimate. And we are about to have this diplomatic power, so ignore them. We're still gonna have to use that diplomacy power soon enough. What are you doing still stationed there? But in that case, when the 6 zealots are done with them, we'll come in and finish them off. Next month. Bingo. Actually, no bingo. Now pike and shot. That's because that institutes tech penalty is probably what increased it a bit, isn't it? Yeah, Renaissance not embraced. That's another reason. With that means more infantry fire and a bit more cavalry shock. Especially cavalry, a Mughal specialty, just like the Croats from the other series. Now you can build a regimental camp. Quick! If only we have a navy. That wouldn't matter. Kangra's fallen. Don't worry about command. Now, regarding the regions of the area, it is part of this. The culture, Eastern Aryan. Unite all the Eastern Aryans, then, yeah, to assimilate. So this is a first start. So we should fully annex Kangra. 1, 2. Not enough, because length of the war. No coalition, though. We do have a permanent claim, and so does this one, the war goal. That's that. But okay, so move in. Let's move together. Beat up these zealots, and then they'll be dealt with. I don't know what's going on over there, but don't give a care right now. A quick siege will win it. How about now? You'll still say no. Or once. Screw it. Coming in. Just use your numbers. If you breach the wall, assault it. A guru in Panipat. A man who some call guru is the right of Panipat. He claims to receive a revelation, being called by heaven to travel from his home in distant lands, spreading the message of the one true God. His local disciples insist that this God is revealed through all religions, including Sunni, and defends Nanak as simply revealing the truths in their own faith. However, there is no question these teachings reject all rituals, traditions, making people stray from the true path to Sunni. Get this man out of Panipat. Didn't we have this issue before? Why is Panipat the place to be for religious preachings? $65 days. 100%. I do have a permanent claim on Command, which I could take it for myself, but if I want to knock it down one by one and culturally assimilate all of them, then that's a big maybe. So glad they did not join that war. Because I would have said, well, you're going to be next. Transoxiana? That's infuriating. As much as I want to get them next, but those are the ones that kicked our can last time. Don't you know the morale of armies? Where do they get such contacts? Are they really that afraid of us? We didn't take too many casualties on that one, so we'll be fine. And it does not cost very much administrative power. That's the beauty of being a Mughal. And whatever all money you have, it'll cost you nothing. No peace power here because we have permanent claims. Not fabricated. Permanent. Key word. Think! You got your money. I know it's a little much, but still, it's in the works. If we deal with any separatist rebellion, we'll have them dealt with. Age of Discovery's coming to an end, but unfortunately we won't get any of these. Almost there. Back to drilling both of you. Oh. Right. Well, just this one then. Ladakh, next objective to take. Even though you're only going to be up against them. But wait a while. Be willing to keep this one army back to deal with them. We have a claim in that area, do we? Yes, sir. Jawadpur declare war against Bishnupur. Bishnupur. That one. And Kacha. And Muat, that little vassal of theirs. Which I have no permanent claim on the area except Ranthambore. That one's always been on the thorn of the side. Debate over the philosophy of Ibn Arabi. Ibn Arabi was an Andalusian scholar and mystic, regarded by many Sufis as the foremost spiritual master. His pantheistic philosophy of the unity of being viewed all creation as a manifestation of God. It invited worshippers to see the divine beauty of all aspects of life. Not merely as traditional rituals of Islam. Ever since, debates have raged on over the accountability of his philosophy, with scholar interpretations of Islam, with some going so far as to label him as an unbeliever. For many Sufis, on the other hand, Ibn Arabi's philosophy became the foundational principle of their religious practice. Now we too are being asked to take sides. Oh, here we go again with this. How old are you, man? 57. I'll have to get a new general sooner or later. We have the military power for it. If you want more legalism, if you go all the way over there, then good for the manpower and the tax, which is where we're getting most of our income from. But of course, the more you expand, the lower the religious unity is going to be. And unfortunately, there's no ideas that's for religious unity. Not spending that economic idea until we get this leveled up too. Decide, damn it! You've been waiting this event for long. Deny the unity of being. A little more legalism. I think we're gonna go with it all the way because reduced technology can get us lowered up to this faster. Because that institution's tech penalty. And get ready to appoint a new general, since the old one isn't going to be around for long when we go up there and take all these areas. While fending off them there. But I'll get you little states soon as well. Big problem. Slowly but surely, Mall is gonna become a force to be reckoned with when we're done with Jawadpur. Because when we declare war against them in the future, everybody will join up except for Sind, which it'll be at a point where it'll say, "What good are you to me now?" We'll turn Kashmir into a state once we go up there to fight against Ladakh. need a little more income, that's all. Yeah, you got him on the ropes. Just take what you need. Oh, here's some prestige gain. Okay, let him back towards Mistas. You insulted us? I could do that right now if I were to do that right here, right now. Just show superiority. Even though we would be breaking a truce because we've beaten them before, I would go up there and kick your ass again. But please restrain yourself. Should the day come where they're going after Dang. Should that day come, we need to ally with the Baminis to fight off against Malwa. Of course, when you have an alliance, that means you build up favors. So that's... But we still need them one more time against Drawnfall. Hotan. I know that area. That's up here. You did a good job. Return. We'll think about an alliance with them. So, yes, they did take parts of Sind, not all. They may be down, but they're not out. Dargah. A Sufi Sheikh has passed away in Bahawalpur. Yeah, you got it. His followers are now putting up a shrine in his honor. Pilgrims from various parts of the country are already starting to come to the province to see the shrine of this great man, some calling him a saint. Local notables have set aside charitable donations and its maintenance, and his former pupils opened a lodge nearby. While there is nothing wrong with honoring a great man, some more traditionalists among the pious and the ulama feel that this form of worship is sacrilegious. Shad Bahar Banu paid the shrine of Bahawalpur a visit might do much for both the prestige of the shrine itself, but also for her popular perception. Production stifled. Our producers become complacent as use of our Smithian economics led to our production techniques being so advanced. It's for 10 years or just one inflation. I think we're just gonna take a hit on the production. But as for this, we must not feed into this local superstition. This very Sufis, but administrative technology costs reduced. There we go. Now we have a courthouse. If you wish to build it. If you have state maintenance issues, which there's some of that. But where will it be built is the real question. It's these areas that need it the most, but not right now. What you doing? War of Honor. Land theft. Many land donations are quite old, and while they're always written down, both landscape and names may have changed since donation was originally written. Recently, the ulema, again with these guys, have been accusing several members of the Mansabdars of outright land theft in the form of encroaching on lands donated to the ulema long ago. The Mansabdars, on the other hand, argue that it is the ulema trying to seize land areas that they do not own. However, we decide to side will become the majority landowner in the area. It's territory is what they want. Or just say no to both, but I guess I would have to side with Lamb on this one since it's not, so it's the loyalty, so have a switch around. Here you go. "8 years old. Thought of something, but that'll be for the next episode. Well, one thing's for certain. Save some technology points for the military to get this new idea, then get a general, knowing that the old one will pass soon. And, we should really get to work on getting towards a national bank, since inflation is starting to become a real issue in here. Come back. Okay. We are ready for war, no doubt, but just wondering about no aggressive expansion penalty right now with the relations as far as we're concerned. So yeah, we're definitely ready for the next war, which we will do that in the next episode. So the first task should be to get up to all these areas. There's no forts, so it should be very easy, but it's mountainous, so be wary, because that supply limit isn't going to be good to nobody. Yeah, supply is going to be an issue, so you probably want to, like this one should go down, and the army will... How much does the other have? They could potentially have more. Military access, it's going to take a while for them to get there. Like, Skoltiratin, and this one, Koljawanpur. Yeah, it's going to take a while for them to get here. What buildings do they have? None. Yes, the Mughals have claims, permanent claims in all these areas in the Himalayan hills. Yes, it keeps going and going. Yes, there too. Fighting these wars up there will be very easy, but we'd rather go for the big ones. Do not forget the mission. And then we'll defeat Jaunpur one more time. And then we'll have to break the alliance with Malwa. Ally with the Bahmanis to defeat Malwa. But we still need Malwa for one thing. This deadly alliance of Gujarat and Transoxiana. So we'd be fighting in multiple fronts in lands that I need gains for. But Sind is in depth, so they're just pretty much not as good as gone, but you get the idea. The last thing I ever want to see is these guys again. They're the ones that mauled us when we were Delhi. Just to cap off this episode. Okay. The Brahmins are appalled our efforts to convert their followers to Sunni faith. They demand that we recall our missionary immediately. No, that won't happen. Because lack of religious unity leads to corruption. The ulama urges to build a magnificent house and worship in Multan so their followers may have an adequate place to congregate the opponents. The Mansabdars, the casting a jealous eye on Fergana, as they claim of Ghana? What the? That's far away from here. Well, we have no choice but to build a house worship in Multan, which there's room, and the tax is good. If you were to build one here, then it'll provide you very little in the way of tax, but then again, the more we expand, the more taxation it'll have. Yes, it may be an empire, but it's not empire-sized yet. So that's what makes this playthrough different from Croatia, or that other ongoing series. And of course, we'll be dealing with more separatism, which will just put it down easily until we get this idea of reduction in national unrest, so things will be a bit easier. But we're more interested in reduction of land maintenance so we can make more income. And of course, get a new general because he's not going to be around for long. It costs you 47 to do that. But we'll pick up the new general in the next episode. So we hope you enjoyed this edition here, because in the next episode we'll enter into a new century, a new age, and all that. So you'll join us in this next episode, hopefully. But until then, so long for now.